and this is Darlene Mitchell-Tree.
In the time that I was growing up, girls were not expected to do a lot. It was like you could become a nurse or you could become a teacher, and that was the only thing that was available. So working with animals, even when I did become an animal trainer, it was a predominantly male-dominated field. And in fact, one of the first movies that I was going to work on, it was called The Emerald Forest, and it was being shot in Costa Rica. And I had been working with the animal for probably 2.5 years, training, working, had a bond with this animal, and then all of a sudden they were like, oh, well, we're going, they meaning these guys that, you know, were also at the place that I was working at, it's like, we're going down to Costa Rica to shoot a movie, and you can't go because you're a woman, because you're married, because you have children, you know, all these things. And so there were always a lot of challenges because it was a predominantly male-oriented field. And the interesting thing, it was a lot of females were the caretakers, and a lot of the males were the ones that were in front of the camera. And so that mold needed to be broken, and didn't become broken until probably the late 1980s. So yeah, there was a lot of challenges for what I wanted to do.
So what was your daily routine like?
As a trainer, the daily routine was a lot of grunt work. Like when I went to our compound, it was getting up, you know, going up early in the morning. Cages needed to be cleaned, and I'm talking lots of animals, like not just one or two, not just like at home. I'm talking about, like, we had a whole primate section that consisted of about 7 primates, big apes, chimpanzees. We had a small mammal section that was, you know, everything from raccoons to ferrets to, you know, otters. Our hoof stock was camels and horses. We had an elephant section with elephants. And then our big cat arena had leopards and tigers and lions, and so there was a lot of animals that needed to be taken care of. So you got up in the morning and you had a routine, you know, animal cages need to be cleaned, and all that needed to be done before you could work on your animal. So if you had a specific animal that you wanted to train or be working on, you had to go up and get all your stuff done, and then in the afternoon you could, if everything was done and clean and fed, and a lot of times too, even the feeding meant gone to the grocery store, gone to get food, preparing the diets, you know, and you know, unloading the groceries. And so there was a lot of work. And if we had a movie or something that we were going to go do, it meant loading up the animals, driving to the facility, unloading the animals, working the animals, and then coming home and unloading them again. So sometimes you didn't get to play with the animals like you wanted to, but it was always wonderful and amazing. And so, but that's kind of what a day was like. And if it was a nice quiet day and you didn't have a job, you could get an animal out and then work on a behavior or play with it. You know, my favorite thing was monkeys, because they were always my favorite. So I had quite a special bond with the spider monkey. So that's why I always hurried up and did all my chores so that I could get my spider monkey out. And then we'd just go walking, because it was a big compound on a lot of acreage and a lot of land. And so I would just take the monkey out and let it explore, like, you know, let it see a butterfly for the first time, or let it see, you know, pick different things out of the ground. And sometimes that was my day, was the best part of my day, was just finding a place, and then I'd sit down and just let the monkey, then it would run back to me and hug me and then go get something and then come back. And so it was just setting out in nature, being with an animal. So that was a fun day.
Yeah, so did you get to pick like any animal you wanted to work with, or?
Yeah, pretty much but there were animals that you were better with, or that liked you better. Like I said, the spider monkey and I had a bond. We had a baboon there that hated me. So if I had to take her out, I could, because I was trained how to handle her, but I would never just go get the baboon out to play with it or do something. So if a job was coming up that required that baboon, I would say, all right, if somebody else wants to do it, fine, you know. So you did get to pick, you know, some of the animals, but you tried to, you know, and to to gain knowledge though and experience, you wanted to be with as many as you could. So although the incident that I explained with the spider monkey was kind of like a fun day, or when I just needed to, you know, after days of work, this is what I want to do. But a lot of times it was like, oh, I haven't worked this otter in 2 weeks. I better get in there so she doesn't forget who I am. Or I haven't gone in with this tiger since she was 4 months old. I don't want her to forget who I am. And so, yeah, you kind of would decide what animals you were working at based on who you were around, and again, who you liked and who liked you. So.
Did you ever get like injured or hurt by any of the animals?
Yeah, that's part of the business, and it's not if you get hurt, it's when. There were always bites and injuries, and I was very fortunate that I've never had any major injuries. Like, I mean, I did have a friend that got half their face ripped off by a chimpanzee. And he's alive to this very day, but missing half his face. I prided myself in being able to read the animals, though, to know that when something was going to happen. And so I avoided some of those things. But, like, I got bit in the face by a snake one time, and so the person was holding the snake, and it probably would have been worse, but we both saw it coming, because as they were holding the snake and as it started to strike, I leaned back my way and they leaned back their way, so the snake was only able to catch like my lip. I've been bit by monkeys. I was taken down by a cat but not harmed. So yeah, I've had a handful of injuries.
Can you describe some of the
So
animals?
some of the, I've worked with lions and tigers, chimpanzees, otters, kangaroos, binturons, kinkajous, porcupine, hedgehogs, snakes, lizards, iguanas, like all sorts of, you know, so putting them in the categories, like I've done large snakes. I mean, my largest snake was about 30 feet, weighed about 250 pounds. I had an albino Burmese python. In fact, even to this very day, when you, I think it's Animal Planet or one of the shows where they have a bunch of people, they do something to, and I don't watch the station, but then they have a big yellow, huge yellow snake. That was our snake. So I've worked with tons of large snakes, small snakes, like I said, and then we had 2 alligators. I have a big giant tegu that I still have, so lizards, iguanas. Yeah, there's pretty much not a lot of animals. One of my favorite is lemurs. I love lemurs. Yeah, there's been so many.
Do you own a lot of animals up to this day?
Not as many as I have. So the word "a lot" is kind of referenced. I probably, compared to some people, still have a lot of animals compared to what I've had.